Welcome to an all-new Fullback U. This is a little bit different. It's we're not quarantined or anything, but it is the social distancing version. I've got JD Runnels on Skype. What's up, JD?
Not much. How you doing, Brad? Fist bump.
Yeah.
Fist bump.
Fist bump.
There you go.
Is that the new thing now?
I guess so. I don't know. I'm quarantined. No, I'm kidding. Everything's good, man. Just kind of hanging out here in Norman. Ready to interview. Got my brother, Lenny Hatchett, and then got athletic director Mike Dunn coming in. And so just excited about them. You know, my brother Lenny made some national news having Donovan Stevens. It does Dell City kid, Donovan Mitchell in. And Donovan ends up testing for the coronavirus. Who knows? It's just been a crazy deal, and so we finally are going to be able to hear his side.
You know what's interesting about the whole thing? The morning that I heard that, I didn't even know it was Donovan Mitchell that visited them. The first thing I said to you was, "Where's my invite?"
Right. Yeah, I want to meet him too, dude. I've seen him street ball on some of those videos, and he looks like just a powerful, fun player to watch. Can shoot extremely well. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, he's on my PS4 team. Like, I play with Donovan Mitchell all the time. So anybody that would be, like we talked about the other day, anybody that would be blaming your brother, insane. So, we'll get to them in just a little bit too. Real quick, I'm sure you're going to want to talk about this on the next pod, but they did go ahead and say spring game is not happening.
I don't want to believe it, Brad. I'm gonna try not to believe it. I may walk by there just to see if anybody's there on the day of the spring game. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. It's tough. I can't blame them though. We can't have that many people in one area.
Yeah.
It's social distancing, like you said.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I'm gonna hear it.
Well, let's go ahead and bring in Lenny Hatchett and Mike Dunn.
Excited for this. All right. Welcome into Fullback U. And, man, I'm a blessed best friend and younger brother right here. I could call these guys that, or I could call them Coach of the Year. But you guys can call them Mike Dunn and Lenny Hatchett. Lenny, how you feeling?
I'm doing well today. How you doing today? Appreciate you guys having us on.
Doing great. Football and AD Mike Dunn. How you doing, sir?
Doing well. Glad to be on here with you.
Like I said, two great head coaches. Lenny, it's just been a hectic week for you, I'd imagine. Just if you can, just run everybody through the last week or so. All the emotional roller coaster I'm sure you've been through. Just definitely been thinking about you and Liam, but just let me know how you've been feeling.
Oh, man, me and my son are feeling great. I wish the weather was a lot nicer where we could be outside, because being inside with a 6-year-old and 10-year-old can sometimes get to you as an adult. But we're doing great, after the incident of from last Tuesday. My main focus has just been about my guys as well, the team, and just trying to stay in touch with those guys throughout the week and making sure that they're kind of trying to do some things on their own and in the hopes of maybe getting ready to play this tournament. So outside of that, we're feeling great. It's been a shock to the whole world, I think, with all the stuff going on and just trying to learn something new, I guess, as everybody else is and going through this process.
Yeah. Well, Mike, for people who don't know the dynamic, you and I have been best friends since like 1994. And then my brother is older than us. Now you get to this level and you're his boss, 10 years younger. So pretty interesting dynamic. But, I joke about those things, but I think this brings out this whole situation brings out how well you guys work together. Can you just talk about your friendship, relationship, how you guys work together? What's it been like working with my brother, that whole deal?
Yeah, well, obviously Lenny has always been like bigger brother to both of us. I mean, I remember us rolling around in the back of the Geo Tracker back in the day, listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony. But and you say boss, but it's really more of a working relationship, same level. I go to Lenny for a lot of information. Lenny's been there; he's sat in that chair before, and so he's one of the first guys I turn to whenever we've got issues, stuff like this. So it's been really good for me just to have him around because it's another person that's been through it, it's been in the trenches, and has done this kind of stuff already. So it makes my life a lot easier. I always tell people that the reason we're successful at Dell City is because we've got good people like Lenny and like Coach Rue, Coach Webb. I go down the line forever on all our coaches, and they make my life a lot easier. So the relationships that we've built and the things that we've done at Dell City are all because of just the way that we're all on the same page. We've got the same goals in mind. We want the same thing for our kids, and it's made life really easy for me.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. And I'm glad to hear it's working out. And Lenny, if you can, I want to hear both of you all's perspective just on how the week was for you, what it was like. You're the head basketball coach. I think a lot of people they only see you on the sidelines during the game. They don't see what it's like for you preparing and all those deals. If you can, I know you're a clean hygiene. You're a well-groomed person. I got to give you that credit. You're better groomed than I am. But for people to even insinuate, you being around Donovan Mitchell and then it blah, 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 spreading here, spreading there, it just really offended me, but that's neither here nor there. Talk about, your interaction when the team's getting ready to leave, just all that.
Well, it kind of started all back that Tuesday, the day before they played the Thunder game. I got a call through a good friend of mine, Irv Rowland, that needed a buddy of his to use a gym, which was Donovan's trainer, and Donovan's trainer got in touch with me, and I basically, was open in arms to try to help his trainer out. I didn't even know, Donovan, it was going to be Donovan Mitchell that was actually coming to my gym. I would have done it for any other player that he would have called upon. He just kind of said, hey, I got a guy that I need to work out, so open the gym up, let him come up. When he got there, he was there with his security guy and his trainer and two other affiliates with the Jazz that I think they're like camera guys or maybe assistant coaches or something. And they went on the other end of the floor and did their own thing. I greeted Mitchell and told him, welcome to Dell City. And if there's anything I can get for him, let me know. And of course, we need to make sure everybody understands this was Tuesday because the announcement of him coming positive didn't happen until Thursday, where I'm getting havoc that people thought that I knew that, like I was able to predict that he was going to be able to be sick, 2 days before, which was kind of crazy. So, the point that he came in, did his workout, I got a chance to let him meet my son, which I'd have never changed a thing in the world with that. Donovan's always a high character guy. I've always enjoyed watching him play. He was teammates with Thabo Sefolosha, which is a really good friend of mine. And we even, talked a little bit about that and their family and my family. And, just the networking and the relationships that you kind of learn in basketball, just like in any other sport, you're always trying to help somebody out if possible. And after he got done doing his workout, I had one player that was in the gym along with one of my assistant coaches that was there before I even got there. Didn't even know they were going to be there, and introduced himself to him and said good luck to us and left. There was speculations that I had my whole team in the gym, that we were taking pictures and doing one-on-one and doing shoot-arounds with them, which was totally far from the truth. So just getting that out there, I'm hoping that helps a lot of people ease their minds, because you would be surprised. There was actually some coaches calling other coaches, letting them know that I was positive and I was the reason why the tournament got canceled and putting some things out there on my son, that really, really bothered me. But, there's some things that you just can't change minds of other people, and they always want to lead to speculations, and sometimes that social media lets them say what they want. But that's the facts, and when all that went down, Thursday, kind of fast forward, it was a special situation because we're the only school in Mid-Delta that the boys and girls got to make the state tournament. And our girls coach, Coach Webb, and her girls well-deserved going there this year. They have a great chance, and just trying to get our guys loaded up, ready to go. Didn't hear anything about cancellation until we actually got pulled in the Sky Took's exit. We were in Sapulpa. Got a call from Coach Dunn. He kind of let us know there were some things going on. But he said, after 15, 20 minutes later, he got a call from the health department. We were able to move on up to Sky Took, got Sky Took's exit, and that's when we got the word that they were going to bang the tournament. So it was difficult to try to tell, 15 young men that they've been working all year to go play in a state tournament that we're not going to get to play. Also trying to keep their morale up and, let them know that we're not over. We're going to still try to fight this and try to find a way to help everybody get to play this tournament, because it's huge for a lot of teams that made it. It could be a once in a lifetime deal for several teams, and I'm hoping that we get opportunity to do it.
Yeah, I think people are forgetting, Lynn, that you give kids the rare opportunity. One, you work with a lot of NBA camps. You work at Trae Young's camp. You work at Russell Westbrook's camp. Thabo Sefolosha. We know Irv Rowland's James Harden's trainer. We went to high school with him. You coached him. Tommy Griffin's your assistant coach, Blake Griffin's dad. So Dell City being right down the street from where the Thunder opponents usually stay, helps you guys out. You guys give the rare opportunity for that. It's never been an issue. Mike, you guys do the same thing in football. You bring OSU coaches around. Heck, you got 2 guys with OSU scholarships. I mean, this is something we pride ourselves on, because you guys do such good work, and you bring in great prospects, and you get them right in the classroom, get them right in the weight room, and then you bring these college coaches around them. And so for you guys to have that negative connotation thrown is BS, but it is what it is. Mike, I want to hear from you on what your day was like. I'm sure your cell phone was just blowing up. Like, just walk me through what your day was like on those few days.
Yeah, well, I'll start on Wednesday. So we knew that Donovan Mitchell had been in the gym on Tuesday night. Didn't think anything of it. Obviously, we had no clue. Like Lenny said, there's no way we predict the future. We don't know that Donovan Mitchell is going to test positive for the virus 2 days later. So Wednesday, though, when I'm sitting there watching the Thunder game and it's about to start, and then I start getting text messages, y'all watching this? You seeing what's happening? And then all of a sudden the game gets canceled, and you're going, what's going on? Then you start seeing reports about Rudy Gobert. And so I actually called Coach Hatchett, and he was actually at the game. And then I called my second call was to our athletic director, who was also at the game. So I said, hey, man, we might have an issue. I said, we had Donovan Mitchell in our gym last night. He came up there and shot around. And he was like, no, really? I said, oh, yeah, he was up there. And so right there at that point, I called our superintendent, Dr. Cobb, and Dr. Cobb went to work on talking with state officials, the health department, state epidemiologist. We started that process. I was actually getting text messages at 3 o'clock in the morning from Governor Stitt's office saying, hey, in the morning, make sure you give us a call. We'll get this thing figured out. As we get information, you'll have it that quick as well. So next day, Thursday, we start going to work on this deal, and it's 9 o'clock, and we've talked to the OSSAA. We talked to the health department. They all said, continue. Go ahead. And I said, our guys are getting on the bus at 9:15 to head to Tulsa. They said, send them that way. If we hear anything else, we'll let you know. So then around about 10:30, I guess, is when the news broke that Donovan Mitchell had tested positive. So at that point, that's when my phone just starts blowing up. I think from Wednesday evening to Thursday, probably at about 7 o'clock, 7:30 at night, I think I had over 120 phone calls just in that little 1 day span, not even that, 12, 14 hours. It was wild. But that whenever Donovan Mitchell tested positive, obviously we felt like we had a responsibility. We need to call the OSSA back and tell them, hey, look, new development. And they knew about it. And I said, we're going to make a decision as a district. We're waiting on the state health officials to call us back. So about 30 minutes later, about 11:05 or so, I get a phone call personally from the state epidemiologist, Lawrence Berkson, I think's his name. But he called me and he said, Coach, I understand you got the kids are on the bus. They're already in Tulsa. I said, yes, sir. I said, we told them to stay on the bus until we got word from you guys on what to do next. And so he said, well, Coach, they're good to go. He said, there's no risk that anybody that was in that gym on Tuesday night with Donovan Mitchell is at risk. His actual words were, there no risk to contract that virus from Donovan Mitchell. So like Coach Hatchett said, there was only 4 or 5 people in the gym anyways. The contact was limited. They had about a minute conversation with Donovan Mitchell and took a picture, and so I think they took that into account. But when the state epidemiologist, who's probably the leading authority on this deal in the state of Oklahoma, when he tells you that your guys are at no risk, and he actually said, Coach, they need to go play basketball. Keep them on the way. So I called Coach Hatchett and I said, Coach, the state epidemiologist called me. You're good to go. Go win the tournament. And so that was our mindset and then I was on the phone with David Jackson from the OSSAA 15, 20 minutes after that. And he had the same conversations with the state health officials. And so he was under the same thoughts that we were, that it's good to go. We're going to play this tournament. That was at about 11:30. And then probably 25, 30 minutes later, like Coach Hatchett said, that's when they banged the tournament and they canceled it. So I had to make that phone call and, hey, we gotta turn around. They're postponing this thing. We'll figure out the next step whenever you guys get back.
Yeah, man, I can just imagine, Lenny. It's just been just from hearing both of y'all, it's just been an emotional week. I've been just as close as I can, but we've obviously been at a distance. We're Skyping now. I called you the Coach of the Year. I mean it. But I got to challenge you, Lynn. I want to hear people to hear your greatness. What's next? You're in this tough position, and I know you. This is going to bring out you and Mike's great working relationship, the character of you guys. Even though you're limited as a coach, what's your plan? How are you planning on? I know you talked about, and I'm proud of you for keeping your guys under your wing and keeping them through adverse times, keeping them upbeat. But let me know what's next, what you plan on, what you're going to do. And obviously we've heard about the OSSAA, which I have a few other feelings about dropping your name in their headlines and press conferences, but that's neither here nor there. But just let me know how you feel about that.
Oh, well, first, one thing I forgot to add in there, when Donovan came to the gym, of course he had his trainer and his security guy and two other officials that were with the Jazz. To me, if anybody else that was going to test positive, it would probably be his trainer. And his trainer's been in great contact with me, letting me know that they were all tested negative, and they've had a lot more contact with him than me or my son or one of my players, assistant coach. So, it's just a weird ordeal how all that went down. I'm glad that he's not having any symptoms. I hope he stays healthy along with everybody else, because that's what I think is going to get this thing back to normal, is once we can get sports going back on with all the events. But, that's a good question you had to ask. I think a lot of it has to do with my kids trusting me and my staff on what we're telling them, and us trusting them that they're good. They're having to do some things on their own, with the sanctions set down. Basically, it's kind of like a dead period now that we can't use any facilities. And now you got the YMCA, you got every other gym in the state. Everything's pretty much closed down. It's hard for our kids to try to go find a gym. I had several kids text me yesterday and said, Coach, got to go to a couple of gyms and go up and down and play, but today they shut it down. So which was yesterday. So it's going to take some interesting things that we're going to have to do with our kids. The most important thing, I think, is that our kids understand that they know that we're going for them for the best interest, that we still want to continue this ride and hopefully continue to try to find a way to play it. But they're going to have that work ethic on their own to try to stay in shape, which I think is the biggest key. Is if we do get to resume this tournament, is the condition for all the kids, for all the teams, and then go from there. So we'll see how that works out.
Mike, want to hear your thoughts on your athletic director. Does this affect private schools in the same way? And then also your football team. I want to hear, you're the coach of the year in football. So does this affect you and Lenny work real well with basketball and football players? Does this affect your workouts, your summer program? Let me know.
Well, right now there's a lot of uncertainty. Don't know how it's going to affect the rest of the spring. Not sure how it's going to affect even the summer. Our biggest hope is that April 6th, that's the date that they've kind of put together, that we're hoping to be back in school. So they're wanting to look at these next few weeks to see if this thing will flatten out. And if people, like Coach Hatchett said, if people adhere to what the CDC is saying and what all the city officials are saying, our state officials, to stay out of restaurants, stay out of gatherings of 10 or more people, stay at home, wash your hands. I think if people do that, we'll see this thing flatten out a little bit. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of understanding on that, but I'm just taking the word of the state officials, and they say that's going to help this deal out. Then I think people should adhere to that. But to answer your question, I'm not sure. I don't know what's going to happen with the stuff. We're staying in contact with our team through our Remind 101s, through our group messaging. We started a Facebook page or a Facebook group just for players and coaches. Coach Jones, our strength and conditioning coach, he's posting workouts every day for body workouts that they can do at the house. He posted some that they could do in a weight room if they had a facility to go to, but it sounds like people are shutting those down, which is good. So they've got some stuff to do. We're trying to send them motivational messages every day. Just trying to, I said something to him yesterday about, I love you guys. Let's find a way to get better every day, even though we're quarantined, basically. You can still find ways to look at stuff. All these guys got smartphones, we're posting stuff that hopefully can better them as people, even if they're not getting that physical workout. But we've told them you can be out in your neighborhoods running. You don't have to have a gym to go get better. And that's the big thing. It's, I think our kids trust us, and our kids, we keep telling them there's no reason for us to lose a lot of the gains that we've made this offseason. Just like Coach Hatchett, our basketball team, hopefully they can find ways to, even if they don't have a basketball goal to shoot at, they can get out there and they can run. They can get on a curb. They can do all kinds of stuff and do exercises on the curbs like we used to do back in the day, And so
in the garage.
They're finding ways, man. That's what I think everyone's going to have to do, is find ways to get better. That's what we're doing as coaches. I mean, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter every single day studying defensive stuff and looking at football stuff. And we're talking every day about making plans. And I think that's all we can do right now is just find ways to get better.
Yeah, it's disheartening. I used to dribble in the garage and the dark and just be sweating. And JD wants no part of that. Like he wants nothing to do with any of that. If he ain't dribbling on a PS4, it ain't happening. But anyway, Lenny, just final thoughts. What do you want? I know what Del City was like 3 years ago before y'all got there. You guys are changing the narrative. How'd you do it? What do you want people to learn or know about Del City coming out of this situation? And you?
I think it's important that people know that, we can definitely win with Del City kids. And that's something that's been real special about this team that I have right now is all these kids that we have on this team are Kerr or Delcrest graduates, as you would say, into high school. These kids have bought in. It's been a special year. They've held on to the number one ranking since Christmas. They're 24-1. And those are hard to come by. I've had nothing but consistent coaches all 4 years. You mentioned having Tommy Griffin on my staff with me. He's been with me for 7 years. He was 3 years with me at Santa Fe. And then, of course, Mike Whitmere has been with me for 4 years. And then Quincy Dawkins has been there with 4 years. And Coach Mo, this is his first year here at Del City. But everybody brings something different to the table of our program. But it's all about the one common goal that we're all trying to teach these kids, which is discipline, accountability, understand how to play the game the right way. And that's when you do those things, you're respected. And our kids, I think, for the foremost, have done that throughout the entire year. And that's one thing I'm extremely proud of with this group. And they know that they, like I said, when they text message me or send me messages, they're one common thing that they all kind of keep putting on there is, Coach, we're still ready to go. And that makes me feel good as a coach, because I know when you have a heavy senior group like we have now that has a lot of leadership, they want to make sure that they do what they can to continue this season to finish out on top, if possibility. Whether it happens or not, I just want my guys to have an opportunity to play it. It'll be in their hands if they get a chance to play it, win or lose. I just want them to get a chance to play it, just like I want a lot of these other schools to get a chance to play it. I mentioned the other day about, not only our girls, Coach Webb and her girls getting there. This is our first time since I've been there. Boys and girls got to go together. They definitely deserve it. A good friend of mine, Jenny Holbrook from Jones, she took her girls' team for the first time in history. It's been over 50-some years that this school is getting a chance to go. And I talked to her, quite a bit through text or phone calls, So it's statewide. I want all these teams to get an opportunity to play, because it's one of the events that really get people excited here in Oklahoma. When it comes to high school basketball.
No doubt. Hopefully we can bring people together safely and healthily, even if it has no crowd, man. I just want to see you guys raise that gold ball. But Mike, there's a lot of stereotypes about Del City. We can't hide them. We were at a game, an opposing team's parent tries to fight somebody. You're the first to run down, get in the middle of it, get that guy out of there, let the authorities take him away. You protect your kids. You make sure that the standard is upheld. What do you want people to know about Del City coming out of this?
Well, it's funny you tell that story. One of the things that, I hated that happened. I hated that it took away from us winning another regional championship. I think that's 4 in a row. But, at the end of the day, our kids protected me as well. You saw it. Our kids, I kind of got them backed away. But when the guy got in my face and said something he shouldn't have said, our kids surrounded him. Then I'm trying to get our kids back again. But, it just lets you know about our kids, man. They're fighters, and they're going to fight for the right reasons. I think at one time, like you said, there's stereotypes, and people would have said, that's just Del City kids being Del City kids. That's not what it was. That was Del City kids protecting the people that they love, and that's one thing about that our kids I want people to know is we've got great kids. We've got kids that work their tails off. They bought into what we've preached. They're living to a standard that we set. Lenny 4 years ago, me 3 years ago, and you're right. We share a bunch of the same kids, and I love pushing our kids to basketball because I know they're going to get a whole season of the right kind of words, the right kind of mentorship, the right kind of preaching, if you will. And I know they're going to come back better physically, but they're going to come back better mentally. That's a big part of what we're doing around there. And I say it all the time. I try to put out as much as I can how much our kids do. We have 2 3-sport athletes that are going out there, and it's helping us compete at a high level in all sports. We're state semifinalists in football this year. Our basketball team's ranked number 1 in the state. Our track team's defending state champions. On the boys' side, our girls have won 4 state championships in a row in track, going for their 5th. Girls basketball making it to state for the first time in a while. Wrestling, we qualified 7 wrestlers for the state tournament this year. I think we placed in, number 5 overall in the state in wrestling. And, so I'm just proud of the momentum that we got going on at Del City. And it's not that we just have good athletes. You've heard that, I've heard that my whole life, that Del City's got great athletes, but they just can't get it going, or here and there, whatever. But we do have great athletes. But the reason we're over the hump right now and we're getting better in every sport is because our kids are buying in to living their lives right. They're buying into being athletes, not just athletic. It's been fun to watch everything that we got going on. But, as an athletic director, I know I can give credit because we've got the best coaching staff, I think, in the state of Oklahoma, top to bottom. We've got great staffs in all of our sports, and we've got people that go the extra mile for their kids. That's why I think we're doing what we're doing right now, and hopefully we keep that thing going. Hopefully we'll get to finish this season out in basketball. Hopefully it is just postponed. I know that OSSAA is having to make tough decisions. I know they did not want to postpone that tournament, and I know they have every thought in their mind is to play this tournament. And they even want to finish all their spring sports. They said that 2 days ago. So, the UIL said the same thing in Texas. They want to finish their tournaments. Hopefully we'll quit seeing people just, I think, jump the gun on this thing and make these rash decisions. Hopefully, like I said, in 3 weeks, we're going to be able to see this thing flatten out a little bit. We can get back to normal, and we can get back out there and finish what we started. That's kind of that's my thought. That's what I hope happens.
Absolutely. Well, you just talked about the kids, and I would say, man, they don't listen to the much news. I would say focus on kids like, Anthony Goodlow and Terry Wilson, who are Del City Eagles. I mean, you can't find 2 better kids anywhere. There's going to be bad stuff happen everywhere, man. To me, again, it shows with things like Mike having 3 kids ranked in the top 35 in the state based on rivals in one class. Lenny having, and you guys sharing kids like Jaden Foreman and the other freshman that you have, Lenny, that's like 6'8". I mean, you guys have got kids that are coming through there doing things the right way, building up the program the right way. Super duper proud of you guys, man. We're gonna have to do this again, and not in a quarantine session. We got to get ready to make some steaks or something, and use this new celeb status for our good, Mike.
Hey guys, I want to mention
we'll throw some noodles in there too for you, JD.
Yeah, noodles. Yeah, I heard you're the noodle man. You're the noodle man in the locker room. So me, I won't turn down a meal. You fed me a few times before. So
oh yeah.
You probably need 2 packs of noodles if you know what I mean.
Hey guys, I want to mention real quick. Middale Schools is doing drive-through meals starting Monday.
Yeah.
They'll have breakfast, lunch served from 9:30 to 11 a.m. for any children 18 and under. Soldier Creek Elementary, Midwest City Elementary, Midwest City High School, Highland Park Elementary, and of course Del City High School.
Any thoughts on that, Mike?
Yeah, I think it's big time. The school districts that are figuring that out and putting that together, I think it just shows what we all know about Mid-Del is this still, I've seen people like teachers, and there's some coaches even out there that are talking about how glad they are to be off, and I think deep down some of those same people, they're hoping that we're out for the rest of the semester, which just blows my mind. I want to be back there with our kids. I know Lynn wants to be back there with the kids, but it just shows that our district cares, that they're putting together this feeding program for our kids that aren't getting, some of our kids, that's what they rely on to eat, is that breakfast and lunch they get every day up at the school. So it's a way for them to go up there and just real quick get a sack lunch and a sack breakfast, and it's immediate. They don't have to wait on anything. So we've told our kids to go take advantage of it. In our little Facebook group, we've put that out there and said, again, don't lose your gains. Go there, and if it's extra food, even if you got something to eat at home, get up there and go get an extra meal. They're going to have it up there for you. Go get that meal, and it's going to be – that's one thing about school food. It's not always the best, but it is going to be nutritious. So hopefully they'll go up there and take advantage of that.
Yeah. Hey, man, Mike, you and I, we had no problems finding it. It might not have been delicious, but them chicken sandwiches went hard. There was some pizza days. I mean, burritos. Yeah. You find your way.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes you don't have a choice like we did at the end of our sophomore year when we got stuck on campus for the last 2 weeks.
That's right. That's right. Well, man, love you guys. This is going to be a great interview. Super producer Brad Reed will hook it all up. We'll have to add some fancy highlights to everything. When I say Coach of the Year, we'll have to put like 5 stars up, Brad.
Oh, boy, you're crazy.
Highlight athletes, show some dunks. Maybe have Lenny find my solo dunk. You can add my dunk in it.
I was there.
Lenny, yeah, exactly. I pointed up to you, Mike.
I was there.
It happened. It's somewhere. It's in somebody's memories, Brad. So believe it. All right. Well, anyway, it'll be a great episode of Fullback U. Thank you, guys.
All right, JD, that was a great interview. And plus, like, we're on the front lines here. This was a big news story, and it keeps getting bigger. But, with the Thunder game being closed down like it was, that kind of threw all of sports started following in line with that. And so here we are. No sports on TV, no sports for the foreseeable future. We'll get through it, though.
Absolutely. And again, it just sucks that I'm sure my brother wasn't the only coach at the Thunder game. But, he gets thrown under the bus like he was. And I'm just proud of him for how he responded. Always proud of him for how he treats the youth where he is. And I'm proud of my buddy Mike Dunn, too, being my brother's boss. And that's a hilarious dynamic for me. But I love both of those guys, and just awesome interview. I'm glad they got to clear everything up here on Fullback U.
Yeah, and actually the whole Del City family thing brought me and you together because
yes, that's what's up. Eagle Vision, like you said last time. We got to get you a hoodie or a collared shirt. You got a hoodie.
Because me and you, we worked together a long time ago, but we never worked together up at the radio station. But me working doing the Del City games brought me closer with Mike Dunn, and then Lenny Hatchett came on, and then I met you, and so that's been all interesting way that things worked out. But I'm very glad to be a part of Fullback U, the podcast, and I know this is one we did on Skype, but we got more plans coming. Tell everybody what's coming up.
Well, I appreciate you being here, Brad, and someday we'll have a few people from radio stations probably want to work for us. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
But anyway, a few new pods coming out. We probably have Jeff Frazier back. He's a 90s teammate with Jarrell Jackson and Ricky Brady that they've talked about. Ricky was an amazing tight end, played the NFL forever, amazing person. Also may have Sam Mays. We've been talking to Sam. He was a little sick, so we had to quarantine from him. We couldn't get the podcast sick.
Yeah.
We had to give it 2 weeks. So anyway, but no, we're gonna try to get with Sam, and then we're ready to go, man. It's close to spring game, so even though if the spring game is canceled, we'll probably head over to Broyles Bar and celebrate anyway. Hopefully we can get some people out there and gather some people together and bring him a crowd, because man, we've seen it. Shout out to Trey's Bar and Grill in the casino. I think it's called Cardinal Club, his new bar. Man, we're starting to see it, Brad. It's taking a toll on businesses, and it's not good for small business owners. The American dream is to own a small business. And if I'm buying a gift card from the guy, I can't buy meals. Shout out to Trey, man. He's delivering meals door to door, having people call in, hoping they'll, buy meals, hoping they'll donate. Really hoping everything works out for him, because he's a great dude.
Shout out to Off the Hook. They're putting together like family packs and stuff.
Yes, I'm gonna buy one of those too.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody should hit up these people, keep them in business while we're going through this, difficult times. So
no doubt. Well, appreciate you, Brad. You the man, dog. Keep them rolling.
Will do. Thank you. Fullback U.
All producers want to be like Brad.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, sir.